Hey everyone, my name is Sean, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a full breakdown and describing the features available to us right now in the Duel beta. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on the features and describe what my experience has been like so far. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, this game is in a true beta of all sense of the word. I know that it's obvious, but for some video games nowadays they say they're in beta, but really they're just glorified demos 2 weeks before the release of the actual game. This is not the case. This game is very early. There's a lot of it that can change. The file size is less than a gig in file, so there's a lot of features that haven't been put in the game yet. So all my opinions and everything I'm describing is tentative and subject to change. What is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel? Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel is a reimagining of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game in order to change it from being the complex version of the 1v1 card game, and also from what it was like in Duel Links, in order to make it more into a 4-player kind of style format. As you see in the gameplay on the screen right now, we have 4 players going head to head, and it's very similar in ways to the normal game, but also into Duel Links, where we only have 3 zones each. We have a graveyard and a deck pile, and we are going head to head. Every card that you see here is going, there are lanes between decks, and cards have to literally travel down the lanes towards their opponent in order to deal damage. It's kind of in a way like a strategy RPG, but also like a MOBA in a sense, where you kind of got to pay attention to different lanes and manage your resources really well. But I will talk a bit more about the way the gameplay works a little bit later on. I want to say that performance of this game does vary greatly so far. I've played this game on 3 different devices. Right now I am recording on my PC, which is a pretty good PC with an RTX 3060 as its GPU processor. But then also I played this on a tablet, a Samsung Galaxy Tablet A7, an entry level tablet which can only really run games at 720p. And then I've also played it on my phone, which is a Poco X3 NFC, and that that also works very well, but that can support up to 4K gaming on a mobile phone, and I think it's a 10-inch screen. Thus far, I would describe that my experience across all 3 devices has been at least playable, but the performance has differed greatly. On my tablet, my Samsung Galaxy Tablet A7, performance was a little bit lacking. There was a lot of drops in frame rate and consistency with the frame rate, particularly on the title screen and during animations, but all of that could be ironed out later on down the line, hopefully, fingers crossed. The best performance obviously I found was on my PC, but of course this game is designed for mobile, and seeing it not perform completely optimally on my Poco X3 was a little bit concerning. It's like, this is a 2019 mobile. The graphics and the qualities of the mobile were pretty good. I expected this game, considering it's such a small game as well, to be running quite optimally, but maybe all of that will change when more things are added to the game during the rest of the beta. So we're going to now go back to the title screen here, and what I'm going to do now is walk you through first the main menu, and then I'm going to go back to the Duel and describe what playing the game is actually like. So this is your main menu here. As you can see in the top of the screen, you've got my username and your avatar you can choose. Very limited what you can choose right now, but at the moment, and then going across the top, we have 2 forms of currency. You have the currency here with a hand over a card, which is your material currency. I'll explain what that means later on. But then this game also uses gems, and that is what you use to buy your cards. 3 lines here, it takes you to the main menu, and there isn't a lot of customization in the game right now, particularly in terms of, say, graphic settings or anything like battery saving settings. None of that is there in the game right now. It's just things like sound, change your language, and very simple type of settings at the moment. Hopefully we'll get more settings as we go along. Going from the left down now, we have if you've played gacha games before, you'll be very familiar with these types of tabs. You've got your notice tab that tells you about the updates in the game and events, gift boxes between friends. I'm not sure how that works at the moment because there is no like trading between friends at the moment. And friends, I have no friends, sad, but you can add a friend list as well and message your friends. And then also we have a missions tab as well, where you got your lifetime missions and your daily missions to encourage you to come in and get rewards every single day. And again, this is all very standard stuff for gacha games nowadays. Lots of little ways to earn rewards. Now on the back to the main menu here, I'm going to ignore the center part, but on the right side here you can change your tag partner. Everybody starts with Kaiba, it seems. Kaiba walks you through the tutorial, but then you can unlock other characters like Yugi, and characters can be leveled up, and as you do, you get raw rewards, and they become better as your trusted partner. This game has a lot of grinding to do, and there's a lot of characters to go through. As you can see right now, we only have the protagonist for the other games, but they we don't even have Art V or Vrains, but they very clearly and obviously have room for other characters to be added. So lots of incentives to kind of get you grinding and playing the game again and again by leveling up your partner. Now, your partner doesn't just give you rewards. Your partners are also who you team up with in tag duels. At the moment, tag duels are only one-player mode duels, so you pick an AI partner and you play against the computer with them. But they use your decks, so leveling up their trust doesn't seem to affect their ability to play the game or anything like that. So it's really just level up your character and then go play tag duels with them. Maybe this will change. I'm getting the feeling that with friend list being a thing and being able to send messages to your friends, I think tags might be expanded to, or even other modes might be expanded to, so you work cooperatively with your friends. We have rank matches in the game. Rank matches are the 4-player battle mode, and in this mode you are playing head to head against 3 other people in order to climb a leaderboard. I'm not going to go into a game just yet, but this is an example of the leaderboard. I'm only bronze 2 on this account. This wasn't my main account primarily. The account on my phone was my main account, but then when we finally figured out how to start recording on PC, I've switched over to that, so I will get this rank back up soon, but I had to spend a lot of time to get it up to where it is now, just to show you for demonstration purposes. And climbing the rank obviously gives you better rewards. The game goes from bronze to silver, gold, platinum, and I think my old account was a platinum 1, but it's like platinum 1, platinum 2, platinum 3, platinum 4. Now, you can choose multiple decks. I'll talk about deck mode too, but as you play through modes, just like the tag duels, you get rewards for playing, so you get cumulative rewards, and every time you play, you get points towards opening the next box. And the box has all treasures inside, different kind of materials and currencies which you can go for, and I'll talk a bit more about that there when we get into deck building. Casual matches mode and rank matches. I think casual isn't online. I get the feeling that casual is just versus bots. I've never played against a real player casually, but I think you're allowed to. I just maybe haven't had the experience to. And rank matches, no, we are not going to actually play a rank match. Rank matches are for playing against other people, also bots as well. A room is to, make rooms with your friends and then go into unique matches. And then event matches and raid duels aren't used yet. The raid duel menu is coming, but this version of the game is not starting yet. This will be in the next season. And raids in this game are going to be like fighting mini bosses, where we work together to destroy structures and attack mini bosses. We don't know much about what that is going to be just yet, but we'll find out soon from the 11th of October. And then events, I believe, are going to be a kind of weekly events that people they're going to encourage people to participate so they can get cards that they need. Now, the card, in terms of deck building and how you obtain cards, there's a lot to cover and go over here. I'm going to start off with the card gacha menu. This is the easiest to understand. There are going to be packs on the left side, and you click a pack and you do a multi-draw here. Now, to do a multi-draw, one draw is 120 credits, whereas multi-draw is 1200. And earning gems to go do the draws can take a long time to do. If you're not winning quite a lot, it takes a long time to farm resources to do this multiply. But if you are, it's a little bit faster, but it still feels very grindy. I'll explain a little bit more later, but on this menu you can also see the card rates. And what I do find strange about this, and one thing I hope that they change in the future, is that doing a multi-draw doesn't seem to necessarily enhance your rate. So there doesn't seem to be a real reason to do so. There is a particular feature if I do the trigger catcher draw here, and what happens during the animation is if at this point your character's head pops up, it's not going to happen, but before you might see Kaiba pop up and he'll go, oh, this is going to be a really good pack, or some stupid thing like that. Then it kind of seems to guarantee that you're going to get a high rarity card for sure, but like an ultra rare. But unfortunately I can't show that to you right now. Now, every pack opens 3 cards. You have 1 spell, 1 monster, 1 trap, and as you can see, Trickstar Lilybell, if you're aware, is not quite an old card. It was he's only about 4 years old, but something that White Dragon Year head is really, really old. So they have cards from all eras of Yu-Gi-Oh! This doesn't seem to be like the original version, the version of Duel Links, where they start off with all the old cards and they release like the GX era, the 5Ds era, and so on and so forth. It seems like they are pulling from all over the game, all over the franchise, right from the get-go, which is really, really nice. The card pool is limited, so some choices are very, very strange, but right now, I kind of like that idea. Now the cards that are hidden are higher rarity cards, everything else is a normal rarity card, and the ones with the least amount of sparkles are rare cards, so let's do those first. We've got Enemy Controller, that's really, really good. I've already got a copy of that, so that's a dupe, and I'll talk about what you can do with dupes in a minute. Subaba Knight, oh wow, I've been waiting for this card for a long time, so it's nice that I got that one. Oh, they're super rares, my apologies, not rare cards. And these shiny ones, we'll see what they are. We've got another copy of Blue Eyes. I do have Blue Eyes ready. I think I've had 3 Blue Eyes so far. And we've got Utopia as well. Utopia is quite cool. This is only 5 packs. I did do a multi, so let's go to the next one. Let's see what shinies we get. Oh, there's only one. Most of this stuff I already have, so let's click on the one card. And we got Wingman. That's a new one. I haven't had that so far. Wingman's pretty good. Not bad. There are not many 1 tribute monsters in the game right now. So these cards are new at the top, and these ones are duplicates. Now, once you buy your card, in terms of spells and traps, once you get the card, that's it. You got this spell trap, and you can put it in your deck and use it straight away. But monsters work differently. All monsters that you get come as normal monsters right from the get-go, and they can be customized a little bit further a little bit later on. So once you get more materials, you can build a deck, but then you can customize your monster, and I want to show you that first. So actually, I think the best thing to do is show you the card catalog. So these are all the cards in the game. I will say how many rows, how many's in a row? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 times 7 is going to be a 10 times 7 is 70, half of 7 is 35, so 105 cards in the game right now. I've done pretty good to get quite a few of them, but the quality of the cards definitely graded differently. Now a lot of these cards may be familiar to players who are used to the card game, but they work very differently. Some cards are very similar, some cards are very, very different. I think a great example to show is one that I don't have is Swords of Ravine and Light. Of course, in the normal game, it says your opponent's monsters cannot attack. And this card stays up on the field for 3 turns, and then they can attack again. Doesn't work like that way in this game. In this game, it just says select 1 monster, and it gains 2 immobile until the end of the turn. Now, you may be wondering, what does immobile mean? And this is one thing I really, really like about this game, is that they have gone to a great length to simplify the text by using keywords that have a meaning to them. So rather than covering the whole card with text, particularly which is hard to read when you're maybe on smaller devices, you just have to remember what the terms mean. So immobile, you could probably guess, means the card can't move. And movement is important in this game. It's not simple as put it on the field. Cards do move around in the field, and you've probably seen that already in the part of the video that I started with, but I'll go back to how that works a little bit later on. There is a massive different imbalance with some of the cards. Things like Mask of Brutality are very, very good right now. Giving a monster 1,000 attack at the cost of defense is very, very powerful. Whereas certain cards like, I want to say, Infiguration, Steel Shell, these ones, select 1 water monster and boost its attack by 800. These are very, very weak because it's not like you can build like a pure water deck. So the odds of you being able to have a card that can use that with isn't always the highest. So balancing is very unique in this game. But as I said earlier, spells and traps work the way they do, but monsters are different. All monsters that you get are normal monsters, and you're probably seeing some here being like, how is that not got an effect? Things like Gaga Magician, that normally has an effect. Zubaba has an effect, Junk Synchron has an effect, but they're all normal monsters. And the reason why it's like this and how it works in this game is that this game has the ability to go through monster customization. When you have a monster, you can choose it to unlock skills. So let's say I choose Subaba Knight, a card I'm actually going to use in the future, and this is his skill tree. Now on the top here we have 5 slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but right now you've only got 1 slot unlocked, which means you can only unlock 1 skill. Now all the skills varied greatly. You have simple skills like boosting your attack, boosting your defense, things like boost your attack at the start of the battle phase, or do direct when you attack direct damage, you do more damage to your opponent. But then you've got other effects versus the special effects. This is a special skill to get the monster's unique skill, and this requires more different materials. And so when this attacks a defense position monster, that monster is destroyed. That's really, really good. And we've also got things like raid materials. These are designed for the raid mode, which we haven't used just yet, but reading them kind of gives you an idea of what this is. So anti-shield, damage to shields increased by 1. So I'm expecting that you're going to have like a big boss monster that's going to have some kind of shield, and you can break it down, and you've got to use different cards to do so, and this card will help you break shields. Other cards like Karibo do damage to structures, so there's that too. So raid mode sounds like it's going to be very interesting. The customization menu has good benefits and bad benefits. It's great that you can customize your cards for different purposes. So for tag duel it can do one thing, but in a rank duel it might do another, or raid duel it might do another thing. But you have to earn materials to be able to buy these. And in my primary account, I went through a lot of these materials very quickly, and then you got to wait. So it's not just a case of, say, doing for the gacha system to unlock your card or earn your card. Once you get it, you've then got to get more resources to go and actually fully unlock the ability that you want. And that can be very, very time consuming. An example that I have, when I started this account, the deck that I wanted to rebuild is Stardust Control. Stardust Dragon, if he is here somewhere, he'll be lower down the list, won't he? Stardust Dragon has a really great effect. His special effect is Karma. All of your level 3 or lower monsters gain Karma, and Karma means when a monster is destroyed to your hand with all of its skills negated, it comes back to your hand. That's really, really good. But so you can play this card with a lot of level 3 or lower monsters, and when they go to the graveyard, they'll come back to your hand, which is great for resource management. But I played this, when I've redone this account, I played for over 10 hours, and it has taken me so long to get the level 3s that I want to. And that's kind of like a downside to me. You kind of really want to get through this, and you kind of really want to get the cards that you want and build the decks that you want. You're going to spend a lot of time trying to grind the cards that you want in this game. Now that being said, I will come back to editing deck in a moment, but now is a good time to talk about the shop. You can actually get cards that you want directly by buying them. So these are all the cards I don't have. So something like Force Raider would be nice because he's got a very high attack. Or a card that I need for that level 3 deck is actually Gaga. Really, really need this card. But at the moment, I don't have her. Now, if I want to buy her directly, you can click on this and hit trade. And what it means you can do is you can trade duplicate cards that you have up to the cards required, number of cards required to buy her out. So if I had 4 spare super rares, I could go and buy this card directly. Right now, I've only got the 1 spare super rare, so I've got to wait till I get more of that if I want to buy her directly. This differs by the rarity, so something like a normal card, if I want to trade for this one, I need 25 other normal cards in order to buy this, which is quite excessive. But and then for something like a rare card, say Scroll of Bewitchment, trade for this is going to be very expensive. You need like 20 cards to do this as well. So that's your alternative option for what you can do with dupes. The other thing you can do with dupe cards in this game is you can buy materials to unlock your skills, and to do that you go to the vault mode and turn your cards into medals. Let me show you what that is like. So we go to cards, vault, and then let's say a card that I don't need anymore. Safe bets are like your spell and trap cards because they can't be customized, whereas there is one more thing that you can do with dupes, so I will talk about that in a second. But let's say I went to get rid of Horn of the Unicorn and I went to medal conversion mode. I think it's going to actually unlock it so it's safe, and then I can actually choose, I'm just going to choose one for now. Let's choose Battlemania, press confirm, oops, increase the quantity, press confirm. Oh, I've got 4 of those, and then press convert, and then you get, depending on the rarity of cards, you'll get some medals, and then those medals can be used to buy whatever materials you want. So dupes can be turned into extra materials to buy the cards or resources you want directly, but you need a lot of dupes to get through this. Now there is one other thing you can do for dupes, and that is back into monster customization. Perhaps you noticed with the card that the monster slots here are very limited, but you can unlock more monster effect slots by hitting this button here, and you can use dupes in order to unlock more slots. Now, with your deck, cards in your main deck can only have 1 ability at a time, but your ace monster right now can have up to 2. This could probably be increased and will be increased in the future, so you can really greatly customize your card. But right now, you're only limited to 1, so you don't need to go ahead and do this straight away, but if you do, you're going to need to have duplicates in order to get more slots. Now, I'm going to show you an example of a card with multiple slots already open. So I think one that would be good to show is Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes White Dragon, I've unlocked 2 slots for him because I used him as my ace monster, and the abilities I'm going to use for him are his master skill, which is when summoned, select and destroy 1 monster on the field. Great effect, kind of pays for that 2 tribute summon effect. And then I've also given him an attack boost effect. I think it's this one here. Increase the default attack of it by 400, and this triggers at the end of every battle phase. So the longer he stays on the field, the bigger he gets and the harder he gets to deal with. Now, let's talk about deck editing. A lot of talk about things around getting your cards, getting your materials, but when you do have the cards that you want, you can build a deck. I've got 2 decks right now. I've got one for 4-player mode and one for tag mode. I'll probably make one for raid mode later on, but let me show you what it's like when you do a brand new deck. So you press add, go to new deck, and then you choose starting off your ace monster. You can choose any monster to be your ace monster, and in my raid mode or my 4-player mode, my ace monster is actually this card here, Top Runner, because he has a movement speed skill, and that's really important for one of the features for the 4-player game, which I'll explain later on. And then for tag duels, I use Blue Eyes because he's beefy and he can destroy cards on the field, and he's a good, really good powerhouse. All cards you can look at the reviews, so cards can have different frames. So Blue Eyes, when he's given an effect, is an effect monster, but also you do have varieties of cards here. So if I show you with Stardust, so I probably went all the way past it. Stardust, for example, Stardust can become a synchro monster. Now synchros in this game don't work the same way. In this you require summon materials. You require 2 or more monsters who total levels add up to 8. So kind of like synchros, but you don't need a tuner. Or say Utopia. Utopia can actually become an Xyz monster, and in that case you need 2 level 4 monsters, so he's only good for decks that run lots of level 4s. So you do have different cards in the game. You do have rituals, you do have effects, you do have synchros. I don't have any ritual monsters at the moment. I think Blackluster Soldier can be a ritual, but I don't even know how that works right now. But yeah, there are different card arts, and depending on what effects you give them, it will change the way they work. So if I show you the example as well, choose my ace monster. Let's just choose Karibo. It doesn't really matter right now. I'm not going to keep this deck. If I choose Karibo, he will be my ace monster. And then you can just drag cards to add into your deck. Now, how you do your deck and what you want to put in your deck, I'll give advice on that later on in a separate video, because deck building in this game is very different to other games. But all you have to do is drag the cards that you want and choose the monster spells and traps. You could also press auto create, and what that will do is give you recommended cards for your deck. Press next, and then it will add the cards that you think you should have and give them their effects already, which is nice and helpful, but I never rely on auto buttons. I do my deck building myself. And then all you've got to do is let's say we wanted to change the effect of Golem. I'll take this off. All you got to do is choose what effect you want. So if I want to give him the attack boost, with this attack he'll come up with 2000 attack, and then yeah, that's really it to the deck building. Now there is a lot of depth to this because you can change and customize your monsters so much. There's a lot of ways you can edit this and make your decks run differently. I don't want to save this, there's no point. Let's go back, discard. So once you built your deck, you're ready to go into the game mode and start playing, and so that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to show you the game mode, and I'm going to show you how the game works in action. So I'm going to go back to the video that I was playing earlier on, but I'm going to play it again for you. And this is me doing a ranked duel against 2 players from Japan and the computer as a bot playing as Jade and Yuki. Now it seems that when the computer plays, and one thing I didn't mention is you are not allowed to have duplicate cards in your deck. But when the computer does, the computer has duplicate cards all the time. So like he might summon like multiple Wing Karibos or multiple Sparkmen. Now in the game you are playing a 4-player duel. There's 4 people at the field at one time, and everyone has lanes that go from their field to other people's fields. So as you can see, my lane goes, one goes forward then left, one goes forward then right, and one goes straight to the center. In the middle, during the ranked mode or the ranked matches, there is an extra card in the middle, and this is an important part of the strategy that I'm using for my deck. So my main card is Top Runner, because when you have an ace monster in your deck, the ace monster starts in your hand in every single game. So I wanted a card that can get this extra card ASAP so my opponents don't get it. So by using Top Runner, he's going to have movement speed, and if he's not interrupted, he should get to it faster. But my opponent noticed that I'm trying to use a card with movement speed, and he has stopped me. He's going to stop me from attacking by changing my monster to defense position, which is very clever. I used enemy controller to turn his monster to defense position, but also my Melodious monster on the left also gave the is it a Zubababa warrior or Go Golem on the left, gave it slow so it won't reach the card as well. So no one got the extra card just yet. Now, your card hand size starts with 4 cards plus your ace monster, and there is an upper hand limit. I think it's 6 cards that you can have into your hand, but then you have to start discarding. And I just drew into MST. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm changing my monster to attack position, and then there is a time. The way this game works is it's broken down to phases like the normal game, but the phases are very different. You start off with your main phase or your draw phase, then your main phase, and then your battle phase. Your battle phase is the start of your turn, and this is when you summon your monsters to the field. And in this game, you can summon as many monsters as you want to, but you can only summon 1 monster to each zone per turn. So if you want to summon 3 monsters, you can summon 3 monsters straight away. This is really cool because it makes tribute summoning really good, because you can choose to summon 2 monsters during your main phase and then tribute them immediately to do a tribute summon, and that can be really helpful in certain situations, but also can be very costly to buy for your cards like that. Now we are into the battle phase, and in the battle phase, this is basically the time when you use your spell cards. So I want to use a Mystical Space Typhoon here to destroy 1 trap card in the field. And if you can see the glowing purple zones, those are all trap cards my opponent has on the field. Trap cards don't just go on your spell and trap zone though. You can also actually put trap cards on the junctions on the field. So if you see where the Melodious monster is standing and my Go Golem is standing, those little junction points can also have trap cards, and if you pass over them, they can trigger. Now, my monster was fastest, so he got to the card in the middle, and this is normally a high rarity card. In this case, I got Mirror Force, but in the past, I've seen Ring of Destruction, I've seen Dark Hole, I've seen Monster Reborn, so going for that powerful card can be very helpful in some situations. So I've gone for the card in the middle lane, and I'm using my 2 monsters to put pressure on my opponents to the left and the right. Trap cards are mostly used during the actual battle phase of when monsters actually fight, but trap cards can also be triggered in other phases when depending on their condition. Trap cards in this game though are very hard, are kind of like automated. You can't necessarily always control when they happen. They all have very simple trigger effects, and it could be when one of your monster battles, when a card passes over it, and it will trigger automatically. This can be good, but this can also be bad. I've run into situations where I put a trap card on the field to deal with one opponent, but it's been triggered by another opponent that I didn't want to use it for because they got to where the trigger point was first. And that is kind of unfortunate in my opinion. It would be better if you could get some control. I think the card I was using was Enchanted Lance or Enchanted Wand, and I wanted to target the biggest monster to gain life points equal to its attack, but then they attacked me with Trickstar Lilybell, and they only had 100 attack, and then I got only 100 attack life points, and that was kind of a waste. Spell cards are like all spells are like quick play spells now. They can be done during your battle phase, but before the time when monsters actually go into contact and start fighting each other, and so there can be a lot to keep track of on the field. You got all these effects to keep track of, and so there isn't a lot of time to read, so you kind of need to know what these cards are in advance. Now, this is another unique thing that's just happened. When you do damage to your opponent, you then gain life points equal to the damage that you do. And now this is a good point of time to actually talk about the win condition for this game. Ranked games and tag duel games only have 8 turns. At the end of 8 turns, whichever player has the highest life point is declared the winner. And every turn, at the end of every round, kind of like Mario Party, you can either be in first, second, third, or fourth. What's really important by this is you don't have to eliminate your opponent to win the game. In fact, there are games where I've eliminated opponents and still only come third because other people have more life points than me, and so they didn't have to do much work to win. They just kind of like play defensively, and that's something that you have to get used to in this game. It's not necessarily just about trying to defeat your opponent and get their life points to 0. It's about whoever has the most amount of life points. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I kind of feel that if you put the hardest work in, you should be rewarded for doing so. And ideally you are, because you're going to have the highest amount of life points because you're doing the most damage. But there are definitely situations where that hasn't worked out to me. So right now, I'm in a very comfortable position here. I've got 2 BE monsters. I've lost my Melodious monster at some point, and we are now onto the 4th turn, so we are halfway into the game. And this is about the time when people start summoning their boss monsters. Jade and Yuki already summoned Neos. Neos, by the way, is one of the worst monsters in the game right now, sadly. His effects really just aren't that good. Not that all the ace monsters are that good, like Dark Magician leaves a lot to be desired. Dark Magician has a burn effect. Stardust, I talked about, is really good because it can revive cards and give cards back from your grave into your hand. So they're all very, very different. But yeah, about the timer, another thing that's very mixed, in my opinion, is that games feel very fixed in terms of their length. By this, what I mean is the game will end when one person is knocked out of the game. If one person's life points hit 0, the battle phase will finish, but then it will end when that because someone has lost and died, and that could happen anywhere from the 1st turn, not likely, but to the 8th turn. So if that happens, the game will end. But if not, you are playing all 8 rounds, and there have been times when I've been grinding where I'm like, oh my god, every single time you want to play the game, you're playing at least a 20-minute match. Games like this have run into problems before in the past. I've particularly seen it in MOBAs where people feel like if they're at a disadvantage in the game and they don't think they're going to win, they end up rage quitting or wasting time or going AFK. Now, what's helpful in this game is that obviously there's a timer on the terms. You only have about 20 seconds to do each phase, which is pretty good because then it keeps the game going at a pace. You're not waiting for your opponent to respond. But I've seen people quit games because they knew they weren't going to win quite a bit on this game. And right now, it doesn't feel like there's a punishment for rage quitters. I've tried it myself. I quit the game out and came back in, and it just booted me back to the main menu, and I had no penalties whatsoever. In fact, the resources that I used to go into the match, one of my rank tickets, I actually still had after leaving the game. That might be just to do with the version of the game. Maybe that kind of stuff is going to come later. But balancing that out is a very, very difficult thing to do. You have to keep people playing, even though they think they're going to lose. But at the same time, if you take too long, people have no reason to deter them from rage quitting. They might just rage quit and go out of the game. And that happens a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not even just this version of the game. People rage quit quite a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh! If they think they're not going to win anything or they haven't got a chance. But this is an example of the game, and yeah, hopefully you guys have a better idea of how this game works. I know there was a lot to talk about in this video, but this game is overall a really, really good game. I have really, really enjoyed my time so far with it, and I think it has a lot of potential. I think it's nice as, say, a side game, alongside things like Duel Links, and also things like Master Duel, which is coming out soon. So this is just a different way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! That's really, really fun. What I hope doesn't happen with this game is I hope that it doesn't become very heavy on the gacha, where you get to a point where you feel like if I don't log in every day, I'm going to fall behind and I'm not going to be able to compete and play the game. And hopefully Konami doesn't go this route. I don't see this game, it would be nice if it did, but I don't see people taking this game crazy seriously. Obviously, they might want to have this game at, say, the World Championship, because they've said that they want Master Duel to be one of their online games at the World Championship along with Duel Links. So maybe they will support it to that. But I think a lot of people are just going to want to play this game for funsies. And if you do, hopefully you don't feel like you have to like play the gacha system, spend a lot of money, and have to log in every day just to keep up with gems. But so far my experience has been quite grindy, but a lot of people have said that too. A lot of people said that it takes too long to earn stuff, and so hopefully Konami will listen and adapt that and adjust it. Obviously it shouldn't be too easy, otherwise you won't keep people interested, but it should be that it doesn't feel like it's a mountain to climb every time you log into the game. So guys, that is my opinion on Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Duel. Overall, I'm going to say I really, really like the concept. I think it's the best spin-off game there is of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's a lot of fun, and if you haven't tried it yet, I can't wait for you to try it yourself and enjoy it. It feels very simple to begin with, but once you start to click, you realize there's a lot of depth to it, and when you start to understand how your cards work and how you should build a deck, it's another way of thinking about how to play the game that is very, very enjoyable to do so. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you have any questions, and if you want to see more content on Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Store, such as how to build a deck, strategies, or you want to see some online ranked matches, let me know. I'll be more than glad and happy to make more content on this game. I think I'm going to be playing it for a while alongside doing my other video content. Thank you guys for watching as always. I'll see you soon. Take care.